Thank you for watching. That's normally how I sign off my vlogs. But if you're watching this, then that means you're already helping me to make a difference. I'm Philip Dehaney and I've been making That Stagey blog for nearly a year. During that time, I've met and interviewed some incredible people. And this month, I will be meeting some of the most remarkable. In this series, I will be interviewing people from the theatre community living with HIV and people who have spoken publicly about it. Each of their stories is very different, as is the way that they choose to tell them. Some people are able to talk publicly about it. Some people prefer to stay private, and that's okay. I hope that these videos will encourage you to listen and to talk. And whether you want to share your story with somebody, I hope that these videos will encourage you to start those conversations. I hope that these videos will answer some of your questions and encourage you to ask more.
Into silence.
Well, yeah, what I'm trying to say is that I am HIV positive, and it's shouldn't be, but it's so hard to say and talk about.
That terrified me is after the production, I had no reason that person would be me. I had never thought that I would ever be HIV positive.
Of all the people in the world having sex, of which there are very, very many, why did I have to be the one to get HIV?
I'm Philip, I'm 32 years old and I'm from the United Kingdom. When I was 24 years old, I went to the STI clinic over my lunch break from work. They did the initial HIV test and that came back as HIV positive.
Today is a very special day. You could say it's a red letter day, if you like. And I've been thinking about making this video for a very long time. I know some people won't like it, and I'm thinking that's even more of a reason why it should happen and why I would like everyone to know that I'm HIV positive.
You never forget when you get told. I got a text message saying, I'm HIV positive and now so are you. And that's when you go, no, I'm not. I thought, well, if I don't know, then I'll be fine. I thought, like many still do, that if you have HIV, then that's it.
Hello, I'm great. How are you?
Good, thank you. So, tell me about you.
Oh no, that's the worst question.
Okay.
That's the worst question to start with. Hi, I'm George. I'm 19. I'm not 19.
19? God, you wish you were still 19.
Fucking hell.
Shall we start that again?
Yeah. See, I get nervous.
Oh, bless. It's only me. We've known each other for years.
Stuck in my head.
So, how old are you now?
25. That knocked 6 years off.
So I first discovered you were HIV positive through a video that you did on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Was that the first time you went public about it, or had you already spoken about it?
That was... I mean, I don't remember which video that was.
So the video was when you were in Trafalgar Square with the 3 hugs.
Yeah.
It was a very powerful video.
Look at him. It was a very powerful video. No, that wasn't the first time that I came out. I first came out in a blog.
Right.
So I started a blog called Still Human, which isn't running anymore. But it was kind of my way to use a platform to write about what I was going through.
And how old were you at that point?
At that point, I was 21.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 22. I can't remember. Age is all blurring. Yeah, so I started writing about it, and then I was like, well, how can I kind of get into other things and do things that I want to do to progress in activism? So I did a few bits with Terence Higgins, GMFA as well, and that was with Shape History, the video that you're talking about. Yeah.
So going back to the original blog, well, actually, let's go right back. So you were diagnosed when you were 19?
19.
Whilst you were still training?
Yeah, it was
at Laine?
It was at the end of my training.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, you're in your final year and something like that comes along. How was that?
It was...
We're just distracted by a kitten, don't mind.
Yeah, my kitten's playing with the wires.
It's fine.
Theo. Where's this toy? Hang on, sorry. It was really rough actually for me, that because I got the diagnosis the evening before my big assessments.
Really?
Yeah, so it was the final assessments of my training, and I didn't really know how to take it. I've said this a few times actually in different things, but my best friend came over and we kind of cried about it, we laughed about it, and we drank some wine. And that's just how we processed the news.
So what made you get tested on that day? Did you?
It was a random test.
Right.
It actually came with a full health checkup, so I was being checked for everything, and then it came back. Got the diagnosis by a phone call, and then I texted Lauren and I said, you need to get over here now. Just come over. And yeah, it was a weird thing actually. I didn't know how to feel. Behave. Yeah, I didn't know how to feel, because you hear of HIV and you hear of different things happening, but when you're actually in the situation, it's like, well, where do I go from here? What do I do? So it kind of created a whole pit of uncertainty and worry, I guess. And yeah, and then the next day went into my final assessments and probably didn't do as well as I wanted to. Yeah.
So then you told Lauren, and then did you tell anybody else?
Not for a while, no. Not for a while. I was telling friends here and there that I felt should know and could help me through things, kind of every few months. And then it got to the point when I wanted to start doing something about this to tell my family.
Right.
So it wasn't until I decided to go public that I thought, well, I need to really go public. I can't just go public but not, kind of thing. Yeah.
So was that a few years after you were diagnosed that you told your family?
Yeah, it was about two or 3 years, yeah.
And how was that to be kind of keeping that a secret? And what made you keep it from them?
Stigma, I guess.
Right.
Internalized stigma more than anything.
Yeah.
I didn't want to feel like I'd let anyone down. I was worried that they'd think negatively of me. And yeah, it was a really difficult thing to process. So when I told them, I didn't tell them face to face. I actually wrote letters, which to me, I wrote down the letter and I wrote exactly what I wanted to say, and I knew how it was going to be said.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't miss out any details. I let them know where I was in my treatment. I let them know. This kitten's a nightmare. Yeah, I let them know where I was in my treatment. I let them know, how HIV's changed since when they were growing up in the 80s. And it kind of, for me, that was a way to kind of let them know that everything was going to be okay. Whether it was the best way to do it or not, I don't know. It was the best way for me.
Yeah.
But whether it was the best way for them, I'll never know. Only because they may have got home from work and found this letter and not been expecting it. It wasn't set up. It was just in their face. It was there. So I may, if I had the chance again, I may actually do it a different way.
So how was their response and reaction to the letters? Did they call you up or?
They both called me.
Yeah.
Both of my parents reacted very differently. Yeah. So my mum was very worried to start with. She was quite upset until she then researched about it herself and came back and was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And she still continues to research and and that'll never change. And it's a good thing, because I think if you have the knowledge, it's not as scary. My dad, I didn't actually hear from for about maybe a week.
Wow.
So I think that was probably him processing.
Yeah.
And discovering himself what to say.
Was that difficult for you, just being in that limbo of not knowing how?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think in the back of my mind, I was like, well, it was a letter. He may not have opened it yet.
Yeah.
I think he would have opened it as soon as he got it, but you just don't know these things. So no, I waited for him to come to me. I didn't want to go and be like, hey, have you read my letter? Yeah. I waited for him to come to me, and he called me. We had a long chat, and he was great. He was really great. And I didn't actually know this at the time. He's tangled up. I didn't know this at the time. Come here. But my dad actually has a friend who has been positive for many years.
Really?
So he was quite up in the knowledge about it anyway. Whether he did some more research, and I don't know. But he was quite knowledgeable and knew that it wasn't a death sentence anymore. Which was very good, because that's what I was scared of. I was scared of them panicking and thinking that it was, the end of my life.
So going back to college, when you first found out, did you tell anybody in faculty-wise? No. You kept it to yourself? Kept it
to myself. I had some difficult months and maybe even years in training. I was sick quite a lot.
Right.
I was getting quite ill during my training, and I unfortunately had to take a bit of time out. And I think that went down negatively.
Right.
I think they thought it was me being, dramatic and not wanting to go to college.
This before your diagnosis?
Before the diagnosis, yeah. So I was quite sick a lot of the time.
Do you think that was related to your...
I think it was. There's absolutely no proof or evidence, but I think it was related. And I think it went down that George is missing his training. But if you're sick, you can't be there. And I was in bed most of the time. So yeah, it was a tough time of not really knowing what was going on.
Well, did you have any fears when you first found out, relating to your personal life or the career, or?
So many fears.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the knowledge. It was a big pool of fear. Am I going to get a job if I tell people? Am I going to find someone to fall in love with? Am I going to, live beyond a certain age? There were so many questions in my head that were just going round and round, and I didn't know the answers. So the whole journey has been a process of figuring everything out, which has been difficult, but it's what you need to do. Everyone goes through those journeys, no matter what is going on. It's just the growth of life, I guess, isn't it?
And do you think now, on reflection, so you're 25 now, 6 years later, do you still have fears or doubts, or do you think they've all kind of been...
Do I have fears and doubts? Yes and no. Not necessarily circling HIV. I don't actually really think about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's just part of my life now, where I take my tablets before I go to bed at night, and they keep me healthy. They make me they keep me undetectable, sorry. And other than that, I don't really think about it. There's a few times if I meet someone and if it comes up in conversation or something, then it's coming out about it.
Yeah.
Again, so it's a bit like being gay, isn't it? Where every time you meet someone new, you're always coming out.
Yeah.
And it's the same with HIV, but it's never really at the forefront of conversation, and it's not at the forefront of my mind. It's just there. It's part of my life. You get on with it.
So you used the word activist.
Yes.
And talked about obviously your decision to go public. What inspired that and encouraged you to do?
From very early on, I decided in my mind that there are 3 C's.
Yeah.
You get chances, you get choices, you make changes. And I'll go through them. It's really cliche, the first one especially, but every day you have a new chance. Every moment you have a new chance to do something new, to do something different.
Yeah.
In those chances, you have choices. What are you going to do, like consciously do, to make a change? So that's why I wanted to do the activism. And I've stepped back from it a little bit now. But that's why I wanted to do it, because I thought with my coming out about being HIV positive, it was a way of, okay, so this is who I am, and what am I going to do about it? I don't want people to go through what I've been through, the negative things. Whilst it's grown me into a I think a better person, I don't want people to go through that fear and pain. So I've kind of used that to try and prevent things or educate and break down stigma. So yeah, it's an absolute journey. You have those 3 C's every day in your life, no matter whether you're HIV positive or not. It's always there. Chances, choices, changes. With anything.
And some people describe it as the HIV closet.
Right.
And do you, now that you're out of that closet, do you feel more relaxed, more comfortable? Or does it?
Yeah, I think so. Because there was always that fear of being in the closet.
Yeah.
Of what people would think. Whereas I guess when you come out of that, I guess from my point of view, the way that I came out about it, because I came out myself and I published my status online, you know, I was admitting it. I was
owning it.
I was owning it. So there was nothing for anyone to talk about.
Yeah.
There was no way that people would gossip or anything. You know, people may talk, but there's nothing negative to say because I've done it myself. There's no negative gossip there. And, you know, it's a difficult one because the best kept secret is the secret you never tell.
Yeah.
But then if you want to come out, for me, go the full shebang. I just did it. And it was scary. But I'm a better person for it, I think.
And then work-wise, so
Yes.
when you got your agent after college, did you tell them initially or later?
I spoke to my agent when I was going to come out publicly.
Right.
So it's something that I wanted the agency to be aware of.
Yeah.
To say, you know, this, and I guess that was also internalized stigma as well, because it's like I can do this if it's my own choice, but I wanted them to be on the same page with, you know, with auditions and work-wise, and we had a long chat about it, and we decided that it was a good thing, and we decided that I'd go ahead with it. And the reason I wanted to go to them was because I was worried that because if there's stigma in the industry or with specific people, would it prevent me getting jobs?
Yeah.
And as far as I know, it hasn't. I guess I'll never know because discrimination's illegal, so I'll never know. And actually, I don't care because if someone's discriminating against me, I don't want to work for them anyway.
But then let's talk about the work. So you went on to do Cats.
Yes.
And most recently you did Dr. Dolittle on tour.
Yeah.
So those are high-profile jobs, which must indicate that it hasn't held you back.
No. And actually, I don't really know. I don't really think it matters.
No.
I really don't, because it's just part of. It's almost a different life, really.
Yeah.
So I live the activism life, and I live my professional life. They don't mix together at all. I will never use something for something else. You know, my personal life's my personal life, and my professional life's my professional life. So for me, they don't mix. And I've had a few really nice jobs, so I guess it hasn't really affected.
So let's come on to your personal life. So going back to that 19-year-old boy who was just diagnosed, did that prevent you from engaging with other people, going on dates? Were you worried?
I was worried, yeah. I was worried, but
So going back, so you started taking medication immediately, I assume?
It wasn't immediately, it was about a year after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so at the time,
Wow.
the World Health Organization didn't ask you to take medication immediately.
Interesting.
So at the time, it was 2011, and I think it changed in 2014, I may be wrong. But you didn't have to take medication until you're at a certain viral load.
Right, I get it.
So when I finished my first contract, which was abroad, I came back, had my tests, and they said, okay, we need to put you on medication now. And probably should have been on medication anyway, but it wasn't a necessity.
So for that year, your viral load wasn't high enough for them to recommend you to be on medication?
No, it wasn't.
But were you then undetectable? How did that work?
I wasn't undetectable,
No. So within that year, were you conscious of that when you were having sex with people, or did it prevent you or put you
Yeah,
off?
I was conscious. I was always, you know, cards on the table.
Yeah.
I was always very open.
Do you tell people straight away?
Yeah, straight away. So if there was ever a potential something, then I would always say.
Yeah.
And it would be a scary thing. But yeah, it was important to me because there was absolutely no chance that I would go there with someone without them knowing, without them being comfortable. And I was 19, so I was still learning about it. You know, I was still learning how easy or hard it is to pass it on, and not being undetectable, there's the bigger risk.
Yeah. And what were people's responses? Was it varied?
No, I've actually been quite lucky, I think.
Right.
So I haven't had negative response. Maybe I've just been attracted to the right people.
Yeah.
I haven't had negative response. Yeah.
So then a year later you'd started the medication and then you were undetectable. Was that a relief to know that it was fully controlled and that you weren't?
Yeah, so the doctors that I was seeing were very good. They explained to me everything that I needed to know. And there was at the time as well, it's different now, but at the time it was, you know, this isn't 100%, but you probably won't pass it on. Whereas now things have changed and there are more recent studies that know that you can't pass it on if you're undetectable. So for me, that knowledge is great. That up-to-date knowledge is even better.
Yeah.
And it, you know, sometimes it's annoying having to take a tablet and remembering to take a tablet every day, but once it's part of your routine, you know, you just do it and it's going to keep you healthy and other people healthy.
Yeah. So then, I think for you, you're in different cases. Nowadays, if someone's diagnosed and they're put straight onto medication, they become undetectable. It's really their choice whether they disclose it to a partner, because they're not, you equals you, so they're not going to put that person. Well, I mean, there is risk, like a 1% risk, but like I say, it's still their choice. And I think that was different in your case because you came into the situation with a heightened awareness of it and a more kind of, you like say, you were more open. Whereas people perhaps might now hide behind it because they don't have to full disclosure. Do you think?
They don't have to. I mean, it doesn't really affect me anymore.
No.
But yeah, people don't have to come out if they don't want to.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one. I think it's opinion based at the moment. But actually, I support that you shouldn't have to come out. You shouldn't have to out yourself just because, you know, you wanna date someone or you wanna jump into bed with someone. Like it is, you shouldn't have to. And if you know that you're safe with it, then it's a hard one. It's all opinion based.
It's like you say, it's like you were lucky and that you kind of you had very supportive and receptive people who kind of cushioned you into that that realm of. So I guess your most recent relationship,
my current relationship,
which is now
and my forever relationship.
Yeah, you recently got engaged.
I did, yeah. So
and he's negative.
He's negative, yeah. So we're in what's called a serodiscordant couple.
Peer to babe, staging.
Oh, I'm tired. Yeah, so we're a serodiscordant couple,
which
means one's positive, one's negative.
Yeah.
We've been together now for 2.5, coming up 3 years, and I'm still positive, he's still negative.
And when you first met him, did you disclose straight away?
Yeah, I think he actually knew already because I was open on social media.
Yeah.
Because I was in this activism thing already.
Yeah.
So I think he knew, but then maybe ruled out any sort of dating or anything. We've actually spoken about it. He didn't necessarily, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. No. He didn't really have the knowledge, the up-to-date knowledge either.
Yeah.
So it was a good way for him to learn.
No, it makes a difference. So he's American.
He's American, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, things are very different over there. I don't actually have a big amount of knowledge about it over there. But he didn't have as much, the up-to-date knowledge. He didn't have the insight. Yeah, he didn't really know. He's from Indiana, so it's very it's in Midwest. So it's not got the publicity and marketing that a lot of places in America do have. So yeah, it was a big learning curve for him as well.
Yeah.
Really, to kind of.
And how did you approach that? Did you see it as a kind of, well, I'm going to teach you this, or was it just kind of naturally organic?
It was organic, yeah. I actually remember the hotel that we were staying in at the time, because we were in Korea when we met.
Yeah.
South Korea. The hotel we were staying in had a lovely rooftop terrace with like a pool and things. So I remember one evening just sitting up there on the deck chairs and just having a really long conversation about where I'm at with my health and if it's going to affect anything between us, and it hasn't. So he's now educated himself, has the knowledge, and really supports me, which is great.
So looking back, you're now 25.
25.
Sat here in your apartment with a kitten and a Christmas tree and a fiance, about to open a new show tonight.
Yeah, tonight.
Is that the future you thought you'd have 6 years ago when you first got that diagnosed?
I don't know.
Did you ever think any of those things weren't achievable?
I thought all of it wasn't achievable.
Really?
And that actually, at the moment, I'm really living a current dream.
Yeah.
With my fiance, I've got this lovely ring on my finger. Our firstborn, our little baby kitten, is 3 months old. And yeah, we're living in a lovely apartment that we have worked really hard to have. And we're still working hard to have. I'm kind of living an adult life that I didn't really know when was going to come. Is that I'm in my mid-20s, so it's a weird kind of place where you're like, okay, so you're kind of still finding your feet. You're not a teenager anymore, but you're an adult, but you're a very young adult, and you're really kind of discovering who you are and what you want, and whether you get it or not is sometimes not even down to you. So I'm very lucky to be very happy. Yeah, I can't really complain at the moment. Hey baby, you want to come up here?
Whoa.
Smile for the camera.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope it's okay. I get tongue-tied and...
No, it's brilliant.
I hope it doesn't come across braggy either.
No. Well, no, it should. You should be really proud of yourself.
Yeah, I guess.
You should be.
Yeah, I am very proud.
And I want people to watch this and be kind of inspired and encouraged and reassured. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there are so many conversations out there happening at the moment in the industry and not in the industry, with there being the mental health, there's weight conversations going on, there's all sorts of different things that I guess no matter what you're going through, it's all, you need to kind of know about it all. It's all relevant, isn't it? So
exactly.
And this ties in very nicely with the mental health conversations, because it does have an impact. So yeah.
But no, I do think it's all important to kind of... I think we're lucky, if anything, that we've got access to like YouTube and videos and podcasts.
Yeah.
Because whereas I'm sure even when you found out, like, where did you go for the information and answers to the questions you were having when...
Online.
You went online?
Online, yeah.
Yeah.
I spoke to my doctors, but you kind of... I never really knew whether they would just be nice about it. You know,
Right.
I actually think you have to put yourself in that situation. You know, people can say, oh, there's no stigma anymore, or there is stigma, but it's not as bad. But you actually have to go through it to actually really know.
Yeah.
People can tell you all they want, but it's your own journey. Everyone's going to have a different journey. There's no way of knowing what's going to happen.
But did you know anybody else who was HIV positive when you were found out? Was there anybody else you could talk to?
No, I had only ever, to my knowledge, I'd only ever met one person who'd been positive before, or that I knew was positive. And even that was when I was at college, so I must have been about 18 when I met him, and there was stigma there in my mind.
Right.
It's because I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the information.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing, it's education. Without educating ourselves, we're not going to make a change. And things were different then than they are now, and you know, in a space of 6-7 years, it's very different.
Yeah.
So it's just about progress, really. It's about moving forward constantly. Chances, choices, changes.
3 C's.
3 C's is my motto. I try and remember I try to remind myself of that, like in different parts of my life as well. Whether it with auditions, with you know, saving money, with relationships, with everything. It's kind of my motto follows me around. And actually, I think that may be why I'm in a reasonably happy place at the moment. It's because I'm doing things and I'm making changes of things that I'm not happy with.
Nice.
Dance to the beat of your own drum.
Always dancing.
Always dancing. And acting now, apparently. This is my first show that I'm not dancing in.
Wow. How's that feel?
Terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. But I've kind of like knocked down a barrier in my mind that I can't do this. But when actually, you know, everyone can act, anyone can act. It's just about doing it. Gaining experience, and it's what I wanted to push me. Thank you for asking me to do this.
Thank you, honestly. I really, really, really admire and respect you.
Thank you.
I think you're a very brave young man. Do you think, is it right to say brave? I know people say that, but do you see it as bravery?
Yeah. Yeah, anything can be brave. You know, if it's out of your comfort zone, it's bravery.
Yeah.
And this is definitely something out of anyone's comfort zone. So yeah, I guess I'm brave. No, I'm on a journey of growth.
I had no reason that person would be me. I had never thought that I would ever be HIV positive.
There are some of us with it that are open.
Yeah.
But I'm probably the most well known in the theatre industry. I mean, that's a horrible realisation that you say, I am.
You are.
Probably the best known theatre director with HIV.